absent excused. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I call to order the meeting of the Planning Commission for June 4th, 2025. I now ask for a moment of silence. Commissioner Swigert, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? We now move over to roll call, Kayla.
Commissioner Ochoa, absent excused. Smith, absent excused. Greggins,
Present.
Delgadillo,
Present.
Swigert,
Present.
Tao,
Here.
and Chairperson Gonzalez.
Present. We have a quorum. Kayla will now read information about how the public may participate in the meeting.
Members of the audience who wish to address the Planning Commission are requested to complete a speaker card available at the podium at the back of the council chamber. Please submit the completed card to the clerk before the item is called, preferably before the meeting begins. I would like to briefly go over the process of submitting public comments to the Planning Commission. Please submit your public comment to the Planning Commission electronically no later than 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Comments received before the deadline will be sent to the Planning Commission and will be part of the record and mentioned as part of the public comment portion of the agenda. Material may be emailed to planningweb@cityofmerced.org and should be limited to 300 words or less. Please specify which portion of the agenda you are commenting on, for example, oral communications or item number. Your comments will be presented to the Planning Commission at the appropriate time. Any correspondence received after 1 p.m. will be distributed to the Planning Commission and retained for the official record. To view video or listen to the Planning Commission meeting live, go to the city's website, www.cityofmerced.org, Facebook Live, or Comcast Public Access Channel 96.
We now move on to item C, public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak on any matter not listed on the agenda may speak during this portion of the meeting and will be allotted 3 minutes. State law prohibits the Planning Commission from acting at this meeting on any matter raised during the public comment period. Members of the public who wish to speak on a matter that is listed in the agenda will be called upon to speak during the discussion of that item. Kayla, do we have any requests to speak at this time?
No.
Thank you. We now move to item D, consent calendar, including minutes. Would the commission like to remove any items for separate consideration? Nope. Hearing and seeing none.
Motion to approve the consent calendar?
I second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Greggins and a second by Commissioner Swigert to approve the consent calendar. We now move to a vote. And it has been passed 5-0. Your screen didn't come up? 1, 2, sorry. Can we record Commissioner Swigert's vote as a yes? Because her screen's locked in.
Yes, we can record Commissioner Swigert as a voting of a yes to make 5 yeses.
Thank you. Let's clear that.
Yeah. Should we check with IT? Can we take a second?
Yeah, let's check with IT. We have 2 voting tablets that we're missing.
Can we, just for the sake of time, just go to a oral vote?
I have my little thing, but does that?
That works. Yeah,
My works.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
You're just missing the screen, your tablet.
okay. What about, okay.
Screens didn't change either. Okay, it's okay.
On the screens, you have to hit the program button,
Yeah.
and that might flip you over to the vote.
Well, it clicked his,
Chair, can we take a recess for several moments while we work out technical issues?
Yes, yeah, let's take a 5-minute recess that we can figure this out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trevor, we're going to move to items E once we go back online, okay?
Sounds great.
Thank you. Forgot he was there. He's always there. All right, it is 6:10. We're going to call the Planning Commission meeting back into session. And folks, we're going to move to item E, public hearings. Kayla, can you read the description, please?
Item E1, conditional use permit number 25-0003, initiated by Arvin Kainth, applicant for Valley Prime Hospitality, Inc., property owner. This application involves a request to operate a food truck parking area for multiple food trucks on an approximately 1-acre lot at 720 Motel Drive. The subject site is generally located at the southwest corner of Yosemite Parkway and Motel Drive. The subject site has a general plan designation of thoroughfare commercial and a zoning classification of thoroughfare commercial. This is a public hearing.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Matt Livingston. I'm the assistant planner. And this project tonight is conditional use permit 25-0003 for a food truck park at 720 Motel Drive. So here's the location map. The project site is the one that's outlined in the center. It's just south of Yosemite Parkway, a little bit to the west of Motel Drive. And there's 2 existing hotels that are near this proposed project site. Here's the current street view. This view is from the entrance to the hotel parking lot off of Motel Drive. So that is where the site would be. Here's the site plan itself. As you can see along the northern portion of the site, there's 11 spaces for the food trucks to park. They are proposing a seating area near the center of the site and as well as a permanent restroom structure in the center of the site. And since this site itself doesn't have any access to the roads, they will need to enter into a shared access agreement with the site to the south, which is 730 Motel Drive. This site itself brings in 38 total parking spaces, which is more than enough. We require 2 per food truck typically. And they also will have additional parking once the parking and access agreement is finalized with the site to the south. And the refuse container is located on the western portion of the site. So like I said, as far as the operation, they're gonna have 11 food trucks, and they plan on adding a permanent restroom structure and a permanent dining area with tables. One thing about this project, if approved, the applicant did express that they want to get it up and going as soon as possible. So we are requesting condition number 32, which would allow them to begin operations prior to the completion of the permanent restroom structure once the paving for the food truck parking area is completed, as long as the food truck employees have access to the restrooms at the hotel south of the site. So basically what that means is they would be allowed to start operating basically immediately while the restrooms are being built, as long as they have restroom access at the hotel. Some of the other notable conditions, we require 2 trash receptacles per food truck. They will be required to park in a way that allows room for customers to gather without being in danger or at risk of any collisions. The food vendors are all prohibited from selling alcohol. And like I mentioned earlier, a cross-access and a parking agreement with the hotel to the south of the site will be provided to the city prior to them operating. We did send out a memo to you guys a little while ago modifying condition number 10, which is regarding the hours. So we changed the hours. We are now putting in this approval 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Sundays through Thursdays, then 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday and Saturdays. And we also are adding in that hours may be adjusted with approval from the Director of Development Services. And if they are going to be open after dark, they need to provide adequate lighting, which is a 50-foot radius around each truck. And if they are not going to provide lighting, then they are required to close at sundown. So after the public hearing, the Planning Commission may approve, disapprove, or modify Environmental Review 25-0008, which is a categorical exemption, and Conditional Use Permit 25-003, subject to the 37 conditions in the staff report, and the modification to condition number 10. So, and I'm available for any questions if you guys have any.
Commissioners, thank you, Matt. Commissioners, are there any questions for the project planner? No. All right, hearing and seeing none. Thank you, Matt. We now move to public hearing applicant. Again, this is a public hearing, and at this time, we'll open the hearing for public comment. I invite the applicant to speak, but it's not required. The applicant will have a total of 15 minutes, including rebuttal time. If you wish to reserve time for rebuttal, please conclude your remarks to give yourself time. Matt, do you know if the applicant wants to speak at this time? No? No, he's good. You're good? Cool. Thank you. Again, validated that there's no leader of opposition. We now move to public hearing, other speakers. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak in person, have sent emails or letters prior to this meeting?
No.
Thank you, Kayla. At this time, we close the public comment and bring it back to the commission for discussion. Are there any comments about the item that the commissioners wish to make at this time? And/or at some point, anyone willing to make a motion to approve or deny the item? Commissioner Delgadillo.
Is there a limit on how many food trucks we can have in the city? No? Okay.
Go ahead.
Good question, Commissioner Delgadillo. So currently, there is no cap or maximum number of food trucks, that there's no limitations in the zoning ordinance. There are certain standards that they do have to meet. They're objective standards. We look at things like parking. We also don't want the food trucks being located in a way that inhibits access to our safety divisions. Don't want them blocking fire hydrants or blocking vision in and out of driveways. So staff evaluates each project on a case-by-case basis, reviews it internally to make sure that it meets all of our health and safety requirements. But in terms of there being a maximum, no, there isn't. There are zoning requirements. Some locations are allowed with site plan review permit, and others are allowed with a conditional use permit. In this case, a food truck park requires a conditional use permit and planning commission approval.
So what happens if I violate some of those rules? Who will investigate whether I'm complying with those rules?
So both projects that obtain entitlements from the city, either site plan review or conditional use permit, those come with conditions of approval, somewhat like the ones that you see on the resolution for this item, requiring compliance with other agencies, not just the city of Merced, compliance with the health department. They do have to comply. This report in particular has got 2 attachments complying with the city's water quality control division requirements and also some safety requirements from the fire department. So conditional use permit means that they are subject to all of the conditions that are approved by the planning commission. There is a condition on here that states that the permit is subject to revocation, which is a lengthy process, but it is subject to revocation if an applicant doesn't follow all of the conditions of approval. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you.
Commissioner Greggins?
Yeah, actually, I do have a question about conditional 32. Matt, I think this will probably be you. I'm sorry, I came out of turn. But in regards to the build out of the restrooms and then getting the agreement with the hotel so the food truck operators can use that, is there a timeline that's connected to that? Or is it just one of those things where if they get the agreement with the hotel, we may never see that restroom built? Or is there a timeline in the condition?
There's no timeline as far as I'm aware. The restroom requirements are through Merced County Health Department. So they will have to go there to make sure that the hotel bathrooms, work for this site. But as far as I know, there's no specific timeline on them being built.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Swager, you had a question?
To piggyback on that, so there is no agreement right now with the hotel.
No, there's no agreement right now, so that will have to be provided.
He's got to, so my question is, okay, the employees and the patrons would be able to use that restroom in the hotel, which is fine. I guess my question kind of goes with Commissioner Greggins as far as, is there gonna be a date so that we don't have it just kind of floating out there in the hotel? You know, is there 6 months later still having to have people use the restrooms?
Can we also confirm, is it just for the employees? Because before we've had conditions specifically for the employees that work in the food trucks, not for the actual patrons that are visiting the food trucks for eating.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So for the time being, only the employees of the food trucks would be permitted to have the shared restroom agreement with the hotel located at 730 Motel Drive. And once the permanent restroom structures are in place, those will be used for the public and the employees.
And do you have a estimated time frame that you can kind of shoot to us on this?
If we get approval today, then the timeline would be no longer than 12 months. Yeah, because the only construction required is just for the restroom, and that's the only construction that is proposed.
Okay.
Well, since you're up there, I do have a question for you. So with the investment of putting the restrooms on there, you're looking at this being a long-term food truck plaza for that section, right, for that area?
Well, so the restroom is not going to be a substantial investment on our end, and we're not planning on having this be long-term in terms of like 5-10 years. We were thinking about putting this up for perhaps 2 to 3 years, and then down the line we may restructure to a gas station or a convenience mart, something along that.
Thank you.
I don't have any further questions. Was anybody else in the queue? I didn't see anybody else in the queue with questions.
I'm in the queue.
Oh, sorry, I cleared you out. Commissioner Greggins.
No worries. Actually, I asked the question if it's going to be a long-term or short-term project for the city, and thank you. You've answered all my questions, so you're free to go, or at least sit back down. This is a great project for that section. This is the old Carro's location. It's been, kind of just sitting there for a long time, and we've approved a previous food truck plaza with the same kind of look, the 2 to 3 year process just recently at the corner of, I think it was 16th and Martin Luther King.
Yep.
So that's not an issue for me. So if there's no other discussion, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the category exemption environmental review 25-0008 with the conditional use permit 25-0003, subject to the 37 conditions found in the staff report with the modifications to condition number 10.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Greggins. I'll second that motion to approve. After public hearing, the Planning Commission may approve categorical exemption, environmental review 25-008, and conditional use permit 25-003, subject to the 37 conditions found in the staff report with the modification of condition 10. We will now move it to a vote. 5. And everything has come up, and it has passed 5-0. Thank you.
That's why I hit that button. You have to be there to see it.
Back to our agenda. And we now move on to item E2.
Conditional use permit number 25-0004, initiated by Michael Chen, applicant for 1700 Investors LLC property owner. This application involves a request to establish a massage therapy spa at 2975 G Street. The subject site is generally located on the west side of G Street, approximately 230 feet south of East Alexander Avenue. The subject site has a general plan designation of neighborhood commercial and a zoning classification of plan development number 2. This is a public hearing.
Good evening, Commissioners. I am Valeria Renteria, Associate Planner. The project I have before you today is conditional use permit number 25-0004 for a new massage establishment at 2975 G Street. Here's a map that shows where the project would be located in a city scale context. This is a closer map of the location of the project. It is located at the west side of G Street, approximately 200 feet south of West Alexander Avenue. The site is approximately 10 acres in size, with commercial and office uses surrounding the site. The proposed project is to be located at an existing suite identified in red towards the northeast corner of the parcel. Here are the existing elevations of the site visible from G Street. And this is the proposed floor plan provided by the applicant. The proposed massage establishment would specialize in body and foot massage services. This would be the second location for this business, and as shown in the proposed floor plan, the establishment would include 5 massage rooms, including 1 couples room, and the hours of operation would be from 9:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. These are some of the conditions of approval. Condition number 8, tenant improvement plans shall be submitted by a design professional prior to issuance of the building permit. Condition number 9, this approval allows of a total of 5 massage technicians to operate with this tenant space. Any increase in the number of massage technicians at this location shall be subject to review by the Director of Development Services, or if deemed necessary, the Planning Commission. Condition number 12, the applicant shall install interior and exterior video surveillance cameras that continuously record outside activities 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The condition number 16, fire extinguisher service company must be contacted for the setup of the installation of fire extinguishers. After opening the public comment period, the Planning Commission may approve, modify, or deny categorical exemption, environmental review number 25-0009, and conditional use permit number 25-0004, subject to the 16 conditions of approval. This now concludes staff's presentation. I am now available for any questions.
Thank you, Valeria, for sharing. And I just have a general question. Usually, this is the first time we had a massage place come up, and I don't see anything outside of just normal TIs that a normal business would do. Is this coming to us because of the scope of the type of business, or am I missing something here?
Just to give you a little bit of background information, this goes back to the Massage Therapy Act of about 2014 through 2016, in which there was a shift in overseeing massage establishments and went from local review to state review. And so during that time, instead of massage establishments being reviewed by our local police department and health department, now it gets reviewed all through the state. The state handles the background check, the state handles the licensing. And because of that, it kind of took away the ability for cities to review and approve massage establishments. So during that time, cities across the state were encouraged to come up with their own ordinance, just because, and our ordinance, the way it's written in the business license code, is that we wanted to create an ordinance that discourages unlawful activities that are associated with massage establishments, just because that was an issue during that 2014 to 2016 period. And so the type of massage establishments that go before the Planning Commission, it gives the city an opportunity to essentially conduct almost like a background check on the operation, on the business. It allows us to include security measures to make sure that unlawful activities are not occurring. So that includes, in this case, surveillance cameras, indoor and outdoor. The conditional use permit creates the venue and the mechanism in order for us to create those type of conditions to make sure that there aren't any unlawful activities. In this situation, this business has, this is their second location. They're expanding. They currently have an operation at the Promenade. They're in good standing with the police department. They've been in operation for 5 years, and the police department didn't object to any of the concerns. So that's why it's going before the Planning Commission, long story short. Yeah.
Thank you, Francisco, for outlining that, especially for some of our new planners, and me myself. I've been here for a few years, and this is the first time that we've had one come up. and understanding the background behind the why, I think is really important for us on how we're looking at these. So thank you so much for that description and discussion on it. Are there any questions from the planning commissioners to our project planner at this time? Nope. Hearing and seeing none. Applicant. Again, this is a public hearing, and at this time, well, actually, we received notification from our applicant that they will not be here to speak, and he did send us a letter, correct? Right, okay, so we can skip that. And then again, we don't have any opposition. Kayla?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you for confirming. Yeah, we got to go to public hearing, other speakers. Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak in person, have sent emails or letters prior to this meeting?
Other than the applicant, no, we do not.
Okay, thank you, Kayla. At this time, we close the public comment and bring it back to the commission for discussion. Commissioners, are there any comments on this open item? Commissioner Delgadillo?
What about the health department? When I was in the civil grand jury, the health department had a difficult time to catch up with investigating the eating services and so forth, and many restaurants were being not necessarily ignored, but it was because of lack of staff. So now we have this, and then we also have food trucks. And how do we stand? Do you think we can handle this?
To answer the question, when it comes to the health department for massage establishments, again, around 2014 to 2016, the authority of our local jurisdiction, that power got taken away. So our local health department does not review massage establishments. They used to prior to 2015. But it now all goes through the state. The state provides the licensing, and the state provides the background checks of all the technicians. So they're the ones that are responsible to make sure that they're following all the regulations. And as it pertains to massage establishments, just like food trucks, there isn't distance requirements between them. There isn't a maximum number of massage establishments allowed in the community. This is the second massage establishment that's been approved by the Planning Commission in the last 5 years, so there hasn't been a proliferation of applications. And this is an expansion of that first one from 2020, so this is 2 in 5 years.
Good. Commissioner Greggins?
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the category exemption environmental review 25-0009 and the conditional use permit 25-0004, subject to the 16 conditions of approval.
I would like to make a second the motion.
Okay. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Greggins and a second by Commissioner Delgadillo. We now move it to a vote. And it has passed 5-0. Thank you, Valeria. We now move on to items F, which is action items. And our very own Francisco will cover those.
So as you all know, I'm not Johnny Land, so I'm filling in for our planning manager, who unfortunately couldn't make it today. And so during this time, we typically provide updates. I do have one update to our schedule and then an update regarding upcoming projects. So as it pertains to our schedule, recently it was announced that there would be a joint planning commission meeting on June 18th with the city council. So that'd be planning commission and city council. And it would be the kickoff to our comprehensive general plan update, along with the high-speed rail station area plan. And we're gonna meet with the consultants. Unfortunately, because of scheduling conflicts, June 18th is not looking like a feasible date. So that's gonna be rescheduled. What I'm hearing is that it looks like that joint meeting will most likely be June 25th. It's not necessarily set in stone. The clerk's office is responsible for scheduling that, so they'll most likely reach out to you once they have a date set in stone. But I just kind of want to put it in your radar. June 25th is a high possibility for that joint meeting. As it pertains to the June 18th meeting, normally the Planning Commission has to cancel that. Unfortunately, we can't go through that normal protocol. So the June 18th meeting, staff will take care of that. We have policies and procedures to cancel that meeting, so we'll take care of that administratively. And then updates to upcoming projects. We do have a meeting scheduled for July 9th. July 9th, we have 2 tentative items scheduled. So one for a general plan amendment, and then another one for a conditional use permit. The general plan, the general plan amendment would be for a housing project in Southeast Merced. And so it's got the potential to really boost the inventory and stock of housing in the community. It's going to be one of the larger housing projects that we've seen. It would be several hundred units. And so normally we've been seeing the growth pattern in North Merced, so this would be a little bit different. It would be Southeast Merced, so kind of help balance out the development boundaries in the community. And this development, this general plan housing project, it's going to have a variety of housing types and stocks. So it's going to have kind of like your standard low density component to it, and it's also going to have other areas. It's going to be a little bit more of that smart growth development, more urban compact, smaller lots, affordable by design, just lots that are easier to maintain. So it's going to have a variety of housing styles, and so it's going to fit the various lifestyles in the community. So that's for the general plan amendment. For the conditional use permit, that project is going to be at what was formerly known as the Merced Mall. So I believe it's called Marketplace at Merced. So the developers currently has been in the talks of reimagining the site, putting in some capital to give the site a facelift, and also looking for opportunities to better optimize the land. And so they've got several plans, and the aspect that you would be looking at with that conditional use permit would be to essentially redo the pylon sign that they have along Olive Avenue. They want to modernize it. They want to, it currently says Merced Mall, so they need to rebrand it. They want to adjust the scale. They want to add some architectural features, and it's going to have a digital sign component to it too. So those are the 2 upcoming projects, and again, those would be for July 9th.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are very exciting, especially to kick off the summer. Some projects that we're really excited about, especially the Marketplace at Merced. Everybody's really excited about that. So thank you for sharing. We now move to item G, information items. Again, does anybody have anything to add here? Usually, no, everything else is covered in item F. We now move to adjournment. Again, we'll need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
We have a request to adjourn by Commissioner Greggins and a second by Commissioner Swigert. And we will move it to a vote. And we are adjourned 5-0. Thank you.